feel like a lot of things I've made change-wise in my life are going to attribute to my performance. Decided 2025, I'm done with social media. Haven't Jade the Peen once this year.
So which part did it say, like, yeah, and I added in wrestling training sessions? I mean, of course, maybe he is. It's just funny that, like, everyone makes such a big thing. Oh, he's changing his life. He's giving up the Mary Jane. I'm like, those are the things that technically made you who you are and a champion. So, like, for someone to tell me, go cold turkey, no more drinking, blah, 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 no edibles, nothing, I'm going to look at him like, yo, bro, this is what got me here. Why would I stop? Carlos Prates, you shouldn't be smoking ciggies. These guys smoking Lucy's the day of the fight and not even like one. The man's damn near going through a whole pack, putting guys in the ground. You feel me? So it's like, I'm sitting here like, nah, it's got to be some type of method to the madness about the mental mind frame that you have to be in when you're going into the fight. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, are you comfortable? Are you happy? And if you're losing after that, then maybe you change some things up, what's going to make you feel more at peace.
Aljamain Sterling has called Sean O'Malley's rematch with Merab Dvalishvili a f***ing cash grab, exposing the UFC's profit-driven motives behind the fight. While acknowledging O'Malley's appeal, Sterling questions the legitimacy of his title shot after their controversial first encounter, igniting a firestorm of debate over the true stakes in this highly anticipated clash. Meanwhile, the upcoming rematch between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili is set to be a pivotal moment in the UFC bantamweight division, following their controversial first encounter, where O'Malley claimed the title amidst heated debate over the fight's circumstances. This clash promises to be more than just a title defense. It's a chance for redemption and clarity in a division rife with talent and tension. With O'Malley's marketability and Dvalishvili's relentless fighting style, the stakes are high, not only for the fighters but also for the UFC's business model. Aljamain Sterling's sharp critique of the rematch as a f***ing cash grab underscores the growing scrutiny over how title shots are awarded. He stated the UFC's gonna do what's best for the business and the brand, acknowledging O'Malley's appeal while questioning the legitimacy of his title shot after their first fight. Sterling further added, "You offer him a trilogy," pointing to the potential for a cycle of rematches that may prioritize profit over merit. As fans eagerly anticipate this showdown, Sterling's words serve as a reminder that the implications for the bantamweight landscape are profound, potentially reshaping the future of the division and the very nature of championship opportunities in the UFC. Sterling also expressed mixed feelings about not receiving an immediate rematch after their controversial first fight, where he lost the title. He noted, "Would I have liked an immediate rematch due to the circumstances going into the first fight?" Absolutely. This statement reveals his frustration and desire for a fair shot at reclaiming his title. Despite his personal disappointment, Sterling acknowledged O'Malley's deserving status, saying, "O'Malley is a really exciting guy that has beaten many top 5 contenders, so I think he rightfully deserves it after all the ranked names he has beaten." This recognition of O'Malley's accomplishments illustrates Sterling's nuanced perspective. He understands that while he may feel wronged, the UFC's decision-making is often influenced by fighters' marketability and past performances. Sterling's accusation reflects a broader concern about the UFC's business model, which often prioritizes marketability over merit. O'Malley, with his engaging personality and exciting fighting style, is a significant draw for the promotion. This reality leads to matchups that may not accurately represent the rankings or the fighter's true capabilities. Sterling's assertion resonates with many fans and fighters who have observed similar trends, where popularity can overshadow performance in determining title shots. The notion that a fighter can secure a title opportunity based on their marketability rather than their achievements can be frustrating for those who value a merit-based system. Sterling's comments highlight a growing discontent among fighters who feel overlooked by promotional decisions that prioritize financial incentives. Furthermore, the potential for a trilogy following a loss for O'Malley raises ethical questions about the integrity of the sport. If the UFC capitalizes on the storyline of a trilogy, it risks undermining the competitive nature of the matches. This scenario illustrates how fighters can become pawns in a larger financial game, where the narrative takes precedence over the actual competition. Shael Sonnen's insights on the rematch between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili provide a thought-provoking perspective on the dynamics of this highly anticipated fight. fight. He begins by sharing his observations from a recent encounter with O'Malley, mentioning that O'Malley appeared to be in excellent shape, perhaps even better than expected. This comment raises questions about O'Malley's training regimen, especially considering he had previously indicated he would be out for a year. Sonnen notes that O'Malley had his coach with him, implying that he has been actively training, suggesting that O'Malley may be more prepared than he has let on.
Gave him a hug when I was out in Vegas, destroying the hopes and dreams of Daniel Cormier. And he looked good. And he looked a little bit too good. And by the way, while he's out doing some business thing, he brought his coach, which means he's training.
Sonnen delves into the pressures surrounding O'Malley during their first fight, explaining that O'Malley had everything to lose in that situation. He emphasizes that the expectations placed on O'Malley were immense, which could have influenced the outcome of their initial encounter. He also highlights Dvalishvili's rise in the sport, noting that Dvalishvili has become a prominent figure, indicating that the rematch could present a different challenge for O'Malley.
But everything to lose was on O'Malley. Everything was expected of him. Many people didn't believe Merab should even have a starring role at an event like Sphere, and understood the only reason he got it is because he's with O'Malley. Well, I'll just let you know right now.
The timing of the fight announcement also plays a role in the narrative. Sonnen notes that the announcement coincided with April Fool's Day, which raised doubts about the authenticity of the matchup. He reflects on the uncertainty surrounding the fight, expressing that he found himself questioning whether it would truly be O'Malley facing Dvalishvili.
It was also April Fool's Day, so you couldn't hear anything, and we, the community, were told Gable Steveson versus Craig Jones, but it's a double cross, which is, yes, it's on April Fool's Day to make you think it's a joke, and then you're going to find out on the second that it really isn't a joke. It was true in the first place, even though it was April Fool's Day. I mean, there was just a lot going on.
Sonnen further discusses the implications of the rematch, emphasizing that for a rematch to be meaningful, there needs to be a clear answer to one critical question: what will be different this time? This inquiry encapsulates the uncertainty and anticipation surrounding the fight, as both fighters will need to adapt and evolve from their previous encounter.
Right, if you're going to do a rematch, you got to be able to answer one question. And it doesn't matter what your answer is as long as you believe it. But the answer to that question is, what's going to be different this time? As I look at Merab versus O'Malley a second time, I can tell you a lot of things.
Michael Bisping's commentary on the rematch between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili provides a detailed perspective on the fight's significance. He begins by highlighting the excitement surrounding the recent announcement of several major fights. Bisping specifically addresses the O'Malley versus Dvalishvili rematch, pointing out that Dvalishvili, the bantamweight champion, will once again be defending his title against O'Malley.
The fight that I'm talking about is not me, it is mixed martial artists at the top of their game, taking part in some massive fight cards which just got announced. And Rude Boy Randy Brown taking on Nicholas Dolby. But that's not it. That isn't all Dana announced. Oh, no. Dana had more to say, of course. This is the main story. Merab Dvalishvili, the Machine, the bantamweight champion, will once again be defending the belt against Sugar Sean O'Malley, UFC 316, the Prudential Center.
Bisping acknowledges the previous fight between the two, noting that many people are questioning how O'Malley could be in this position after being decisively defeated last time. He highlights Dvalishvili's accomplishments since their last encounter, mentioning that Dvalishvili has gone on to defeat Umar Nurmagomedov, solidifying his status as the top bantamweight. This recognition of Dvalishvili's growth sets the stage for the rematch, suggesting that he has continued to improve.
Now a lot of people think, hold on a minute, what's going on? Sugar Sean O'Malley got soundly beat last time. Since then, Merab's gone off, he's beat Umar Nurmagomedov, he's cemented himself as the best bantamweight. He's the best takedown artist in all of mixed martial arts. Nobody's landed more takedowns in MMA than Merab Dvalishvili. The pace that he puts on people, we all know about that.
He also emphasizes the challenges O'Malley faces, pointing out that O'Malley will need to be at his best for this fight. Bisping acknowledges the fighter's striking ability, mentioning that he has the power to inflict damage. This highlights the potential for O'Malley to land significant strikes, adding intrigue to the matchup.
Sugar Sean O'Malley is going to have to show up in this one. Yes, of course he showed up in the first fight, but Merab's style was just too much. But think about it like this. This is favoring Merab Dvalishvili.
Bisping further discusses the unpredictability of rematches, asserting that every fight is unique and never unfolds in the same way. He draws on his own experience, recalling what he told Luke Rockhold before their second fight at UFC 199. This perspective reinforces the idea that past performances do not guarantee future outcomes, making the rematch between O'Malley and Dvalishvili all the more compelling.
Every single fight, whether it's boxing, kickboxing, MMA, they are always different and they never play out the same. That's exactly what I said to Luke Rockhold when I fought him the second time at UFC 199. And of course, I knocked him out in the first round. Not bigging myself up, just giving you an example how every single fight, it's always different. You zig when you should have zagged. You bob when you should have weaved. You know how it goes.
In a recent discussion, Ben Askren and Daniel Cormier also shared their insights on the upcoming rematch between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili. Askren opened the conversation by pointing out that Dvalishvili defeated O'Malley to become the bantamweight champion, remarking that it wasn't a particularly competitive fight. He emphasized Dvalishvili's dominance in their previous encounter and highlighted his subsequent victory over Umar Nurmagomedov, stating that Dvalishvili went on to defeat what many considered the boogeyman in the division. This establishes Dvalishvili as a formidable champion and sets the stage for the rematch.
Oh, that's funny.
Merab Dvalishvili beat Sean O'Malley to become the bantamweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
It wasn't that competitive a fight. Merab then goes on to beat essentially the boogeyman in Umar Nurmagomedov in Los Angeles.
Yep.
When discussing O'Malley's title shot, Askren expressed initial surprise, stating that it caught him off guard at first. However, he quickly looked at the rankings and noted that the bantamweight division is tightly contested. He pointed out that Dvalishvili has victories over O'Malley, Petr Yan, and Umar Nurmagomedov. This context helps clarify why O'Malley is getting another shot at the title despite his previous loss. Cormier added that the landscape of the division is complicated, with many fighters having defeated one another, making it challenging to identify a clear contender.
Yeah, initially it did surprise me a little bit, but then I went and I looked at the rankings, and I don't know who else they'd put in there. Merab has beaten Sean, he's beaten Peter, he's beaten Umar. That's number 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Sandhagen has a very recent loss, as does Figueiredo, and I believe those two are fighting each other. That's the top 5.
Cormier acknowledged O'Malley's prominence in the sport, stating that he is the most recognizable fighter and carries significant name recognition. However, he also pointed out that O'Malley's popularity might not necessarily translate to pay-per-view success, referencing Aljamain Sterling's comments regarding O'Malley's impact as a champion. Cormier emphasized that while O'Malley is a fan favorite, the UFC's decision to grant him a title shot may be driven more by marketability than by merit.
He's the one that's most recognizable. He's the one that carries the most name recognition. He's the one that people know about more than anyone. But Aljamain said it's not as impactful as they would make you believe as a champion in terms of him and pay-per-view buys and everything.
As the discussion progressed, Askren raised concerns about O'Malley's preparation, questioning what he has done to improve, especially considering he was hurt at the beginning of his recovery and unable to wrestle. He emphasized the importance of wrestling skills in this matchup, stating that if you have a bad shoulder, you won't be able to wrestle at the necessary level. Cormier agreed, suggesting that O'Malley should have focused on enhancing his wrestling skills, expressing a wish that the fighter would have taken more time to improve in that area.
What has he done? He supposedly was injured, right?
Didn't they say he was going to be injured and he was going to be out for like a whole year or something?
Okay. Exactly, man. That's my point. He said he was hurt. Remember the rotator cuff or something that was messed up, that he was so hurt, that was part of the reason he lost. He was going to be away for a while trying to get healthy. Not only that, he lost because he couldn't stop takedowns. What do you think he has done in the 9 months since the fight to improve that, especially if he was hurt in the beginning of the recovery where he couldn't wrestle?
Couldn't train.
If you have a bad shoulder, you are not wrestling at the level that you need to wrestle in order to defeat
You're not wrestling at all if you got a really bad shoulder.
Both fighters acknowledged the risks O'Malley faces in this rematch. Askren warned that if Sean gets dominated by Dvalishvili again, he could lose a significant amount of his appeal. Cormier added that O'Malley had the option to fight lower-ranked opponents to rebuild his profile, suggesting that he could have faced fighters who might not be able to take him down. This strategy could have allowed the fighter to regain momentum and confidence before stepping back into the octagon against a top contender.
Well, you already lost to the champ twice, so until until the champ goes away, they're not going to give you a third shot against him. He could have fought some maybe lower ranked guys and just looked, against guys who can't take him down. He kind of looks like a real freaking superstar, right? He's really exciting, very diverse striking attack. So he could look really good, built the fight back up into something bigger. But now I feel like everyone is feeling like you're feeling.
As the rematch between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili draws near, the conversations surrounding it reveal a multifaceted landscape of competition, business, and personal ambition. Aljamain Sterling's sharp critique of the matchup as a cash grab resonates with many in the MMA community, highlighting the tension between marketability and meritocracy in the sport. The insights from Chael Sonnen, Michael Bisping, Ben Askren, and Daniel Cormier further enrich the narrative, emphasizing the stakes involved for both fighters and the implications for the bantamweight division. O'Malley's journey back to the title is fraught with challenges, particularly in addressing the weaknesses that Dvalishvili exploited in their first encounter. The pressure is on him to demonstrate growth and adaptability as both fighters prepare for a clash that could redefine their careers. Meanwhile, Dvalishvili's rise as a dominant champion adds another layer of intrigue as he seeks to solidify his legacy against a high-profile opponent. Ultimately, this rematch is not just about the title, it represents a critical juncture for the fighters involved and the UFC as a whole. As fans eagerly await the showdown, the discussions surrounding the fight serve as a reminder of the intricate dynamics that shape the world of mixed martial arts. The outcome will not only impact the fighters' trajectories, but also influence the ongoing conversation about how title shots are awarded and the balance between business interests and competitive integrity in the sport.